Yes, people, welcome back to GunnersHub. It has been a while. Firstly, I need to apologise because life gets busy. It gets extremely busy. So, firstly, I just want to apologise for that. Um, so got Tez with me again. It's lovely to have you, Tez, as always, man. Love.
Love. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Welcome back to the scene.
Come on. It's all love. It's all love. Arsenal. I mean, some would say um, the football is not as fluid as it was last year, but Tez, tell me, we're top of the league. Should we be worrying about performances? And as I'm sure, it's at least we get the job done, right? Or are we got to be worrying about performances?
It's a catch-22. Now, performances being great, us playing the most attractive football ever, it's a luxury. The fact of the matter is, it's going to be the ugly wins, the points that we weren't picking up last season, the ones that we were grinding out results. Those are going to be the points that make the difference if we're trying to win the league this season. So, if we're playing fancy football on top of that and it's all looking aesthetically pleasing, then I'll take that. But I'd also take top of the league, which we are, and we're also top of the Champions League group we're in. Obviously, like points have been made about us playing only being able to play the teams that are in front of us, but
Yeah,
we lost to Lens in a very miserable way. So revenge, I enjoyed watching that revenge. You get me? It looked like the players were pumped up for that game. They did what they had to do against Wolves. You can tell they took their foot off the gas. There's no
yeah,
doubt about that whatsoever.
yeah.
They started taking it easy, and Wolves tried to take advantage. But at the end of the day, once again, another win in the bag. Whether we're playing fancy football or grinding out results, a win, win, win. Win's a win, isn't it?
A win's a win. That's exactly how I see it. I feel like the players are not even at their 100% best yet. And if you're grinding out the wins, that's all that matters. Those are the kind of wins, like the Wolves game when you nick a 1-0, win late. Those are the kind of wins and games that can be the small margins to a title. You never know. Those are the games we've got to take seriously. I'd say last year, Wolves, if we was to go there, we probably lost that or drew.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. I was
So
saying before that those were the games that we dropped those points last season that we're picking
definitely,
up.
yeah,
It's also worth mentioning for anyone with the short memories there, keep in mind Man City were out of form this time last season and we were banging it. And
yeah,
we dropped form at the worst possible time. So the fact that our form's been shaking, we're just coming into form now. It's not looking good for the rivals and it's looking good for us. So if we've had our time to be out of form, which a lot of people are saying because of the level of performances, if we go into form for the second half of the season, all the more better for us.
definitely, definitely. We've got to be up there to be in it. And I think, yes, we're not playing that beautiful football, that tippy tappy football that we were playing last year, but
Mm,
we're getting the results, and that's what matters. We need the results in my opinion, we need to win the league this year. A lot of other fans that I've spoken to have got a bit more different expectations. They'll be happy for second, but second and silverware. But I think, considering we've got Declan Rice is a big game changer to our midfield as well, don't you think?
definitely, definitely. I would 100% say the same in terms of winning. I would actually sacrifice the League Cups, as in FA Cup and
Yeah, same
I'd
to win.
sacrifice that. I wouldn't even bother. I'd literally put out
No,
this. What do we get? We got Liverpool, right?
yeah, Liverpool in the
I
F.
wouldn't even play a full strength team. I'd forget it. Forget the. I'm not interested in the FA Cup. I'm not interested at all. I would like to see us do well in the Champions League, go as far as we can.
Yeah,
Be very ambitious. It's open, expansive football, so it suits us. There's not going to be 10 men sat behind the ball because they're going to want to attack. That
yeah.
suits us. So let's see how far we can take that, and let's push for the league.
I think so. I think so. And I, when you said I don't think we should, start our strongest team, I think Arteta will definitely think he won't be thinking like that. He'll be thinking every game, every competition we're in is taken seriously. Every competition and game to Arteta is, like playing in the Champions League final, for example. So you know what Arteta's like, he's quite stubborn. I think he will play, but I think he will go strong. I think he will want the team, and I think he'll want that chemistry. He'll want the players to continue that, you know, the mentality of you have to win, you have to win, you know, and just keep that drilled in the player's head and not to, you know, let the foot off the gas. But let's talk. I need to mention it. To be honest, I can't stop talking about Declan Rice. This this guy, he's unbelievable. I know he was doing it all at West Ham, and he does it for England, but when you see him week in, week out, he's phenomenal. Don't you? Would you class him as one of the best signings we've signed, or is it too early to put him up there? Like,
In terms of, because I remember on the last podcast we were talking
yeah,
about the finances that we spent,
yeah,
expecting the players for what we've paid for them, you would expect them to hit the ground running. He's
absolutely.
done that and then some. Which is why I was disappointed in the other players that not living up to their price tag immediately. But
Mm-hmm.
Declan Rice is definitely putting in a shift in midfield. So the fact that we're not missing Partey, we would have last season,
Yeah,
season before.
yeah,
We're not even missing him, and we don't know what's going on with him in the background or whatever. His injury record has obviously been an issue since we bought him. The fans have backed him no matter what. He is a bit of a he does have a bit of a cult following, but
yeah,
the fact that no one's even talking about him right now in that retrospect of I wish he was there speaks volumes. So Declan Rice is definitely been an
definitely.
amazing signing for us. Um, I know there's a lot of people that said maybe we overpaid a bit for him, but in this modern era with what he's providing to the midfield, he's earning his corn. He's definitely he's earning it. So you can't complain. You just can't complain.
Absolutely not. And
You've got to
I,
worry about burnout though, because who covers? And this is the problem we're having with the
yeah,
Sakas and the other guards.
that's it.
We smashed them to pieces last season, and they had a great season. We didn't walk away with the league, but the fact of the matter is they started to tire, and that's when we lost form. We can't expect them to be playing every game of every season. With the amount of games each season, it's unrealistic. So the fact of the matter is, it's going to be about player management in terms of adequate cover. That's
Definitely.
what's going to win us the league this season, which is why correctly everyone's looking at January, especially for Odegaard and Saka,
I
like
think
competition at the bare minimum.
we need competition.
At the
Definitely.
bare minimum, or
Yeah,
even or just somebody that will allow them to have a rest for a few games without us dropping points as a consequence, because we can't expect them to because right now we're smashing them again, same as we were last season, and
yeah,
you can see the injuries, you can see the Saka's limping off here and there, or the
mm,
guard's already been out injured. Jesus obviously had his injuries season
yeah,
after season, but he's had a couple himself. Martellini on the left hand side's had a couple of injuries, so you can see it starting to take its toll. The demand of the league, and it's an extremely physical league, probably one of the most physical in the world. You
yeah,
can see it starting to take its toll.
definitely.
So we do have to definitely. I mean, the good thing about Martellini is we've got Trossard, but we haven't got that for the right hand side.
That's right. What about Reiss Nelson? Because I quite like him. When he comes on, I can see something there. It's just, well, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Inconsistent, or would you say for the level that Saka plays week in, week out, we just need someone just around Saka's performance levels to come in and, you know, do you think Reiss Nelson's not the answer, or do you think because
Well, I
he's
think regardless of our opinion of Reiss Nelson, I
yeah,
think it's very clear he doesn't have the trust of Arteta. Otherwise, he would have definitely been covering a bit more. The fact that like I mentioned before about Saka doing like the whole you can see him like when he goes down, he stays down for a bit longer than he did last season, or
yeah,
he's sub early. Um, I'm confused about Reiss Nelson's situation. We didn't let him go. We gave him a new contract. So I assumed he would have a more prominent role to play this season. He did come through for us a few times last season. Let's not forget the couple of goals he did contribute, assists and whatnot.
yeah,
But I can't see a very clear trust, or I can see a very clear trust issue with him as a player with the manager. If he was the person that's supposed to provide the solution to the overplay Saka problem, he's clearly not fulfilling that role or being allowed to.
yeah,
So once again, it goes back to player management. Why was he given a new contract then? What was what is the purpose of Reiss Nelson as a player for Arsenal right now?
Exactly. I'd love to know, because
it's a very confusing dilemma.
It is that one is very confusing. I mean, I think if Reiss Nelson was playing for a different team, he'd be on his way. I think he's a really good player, and for Arteta not just Arteta, but for the Arsenal Football Club and the higher up to offer him a new contract and him not to be playing. There's obviously something there. I mean, when Saka gets knocked here, there, and everywhere in the games, and he's limping, Arteta still adamantly wants him to be on the pitch still. So there's, like you said, you're right. There's no trust there. So that's maybe a story for another day. But that's.
But if he doesn't believe he was gonna be adequate cover from, well then, I mean, he had a really great season at Feyenoord when he had a really good Europa League run.
Yeah,
he did one of the passes of the Europa League when he did an assist for them. So whether he's a good player or not, can't be in doubt. He's obviously a good player, but he's good enough to play for as cover for Saka. That may be an answer we never know.
No.
The current rate of how he's being used, that's not a question that's going to be answered by us this season, unless the unfortunate touch would please don't happen. We lose Saka.
Yeah, definitely, and that's
not. I was going to say that's not a scenario we want to be in. To have to find out.
Absolutely not. I mean, without Saka on the wing, is a big threat to Arsenal. You can see that game, even when he doesn't have a 10-10 match, when he has like a let's say a average performance or average match, he's still clinical. You can see that his one cross could be the absolute, so we need Saka. It's a definite must. What's your thoughts on the goalkeeper situation now? Whispers and talks going on. It seems to be the big thing about and around Arsenal at the minute with David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale. I mean, my opinion, I don't think we can tell them apart at the minute, but I feel like David Raya is more calm on the ball, relaxed. But I don't know if that, and I don't know if I could say the same about Ramsdale, but I don't know if that's because, he's, of all what's going on right now, it's a hot topic and he might feel nervous. He might feel like the whole world's watching him. And what do you think? Do you think Arteta's brought this on himself? He's made this his own problem?
Well, there's a lot of talk about Raya being Arteta's preferred option even before Ramsdale came along.
Yeah.
And which would make it seem like the opportunity came for him to grab his ideal keeper, and he took it and said to hell with the consequences. That's been my guy. I want him. We're having him. So this is a problem of his making. That being said, we're in it now. Raya does seem, on the face of it, I mean, maybe there's a marginal difference in terms of stats. That might be something we have to look into, but compared to the needs elsewhere, it wasn't entirely necessary. I mean, if we could have taken that money and put another 60 on top and got a proven goal scorer or something, or do you know what I mean? So, or cover for Saka, I feel like it was not only a distraction for the club and politics-wise, but also it was a distraction from the more dire needs elsewhere on the pitch.
Yeah.
We could have focused our efforts on getting adequate cover for Saka or someone to challenge Jesus in terms of goal scoring, and we spent that time getting a keeper we didn't really need.
I agree. I think up top we need a bit of competition. Jesus, to be fair, he said something about goals are not his strong point, but to me, he does everything. He doesn't just, when Jesus to me doesn't play up front, there's a lot missing because he drops back, he goes there, he's everywhere. Yes, he's a striker, but he's everywhere. And that's what I like about Jesus. Yes, we need a 20, 30 goal scorer each season, but I feel like I'm when I watch football, I'm going to be missing the things that Jesus does, if that makes sense. But, you know, we do need a striker. We do need to be getting somebody that's hitting those goals every season. But don't you think Jesus brings a lot to he does a lot. He does a lot.
All right, let me put this to you. For example, we got that proven goal scorer this season.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have changed the fact that Odegaard would have got injured at some point, right? Now,
Yeah.
the way Jesus' game is set up, by his
Yeah.
own words, he's basically said he's a second striker, not our main target man.
Mm.
Now, there would have been nothing wrong whatsoever with while Odegaard was injured, or even to man manage Odegaard as a player.
Yeah.
Jesus plays as a second striker behind the proven goal
Behind.
scorer,
Yes.
and they go and smash the thing. Then you don't need another number 10 to cover for Odegaard, because you just change the formation or tweak it and put in Jesus as the second striker. So
Yeah.
they're like, I don't think bringing in a proven goal scorer is going to stop Jesus from playing on the pitch. If anything, it's going to help man manage both of them, because they've obviously Jesus has had his injuries each and every season.
Yeah.
Odegaard's obviously looking a bit worn and torn this season. It would have helped both of them actually in the long run. So actually, it benefits both of them to have a proven goal scorer.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. I think everyone gets a bit scared when people mention striker and they're thinking, oh, well, what's going to happen with Jesus? But I know that he's too good to be on the bench. I think that's how everyone looks at it, and also myself. I mean, he's so good. He's too good to be sitting on the bench. But yeah, I think I don't know. In January, I don't know if Arteta will be. I don't think he'll bring in a striker. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that's all.
Now, we both know when it comes to how I think or feel about how we should play,
Yeah,
Arteta is highly unlikely to go with any of my type of suggestions. So the likelihood of him getting a striker is low, in my opinion.
yeah,
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't. I don't. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about him getting another midfielder.
yeah.
So that's going to be very interesting. Now, we also have to talk about the likelihood of not seeing anyone,
There you
because
go.
that's what happened in January.
Yes.
Essentially, I should say.
Yeah.
So the real question is, do we see anyone walking through the door, rather than are we going to get a striker or a midfielder? Or it's
True.
already a very, very bad time. Nobody wants to lose their players. A lot of players are focused on what's happening for the team they're a part of. Can we, is the real question, can we actually get a player of the caliber we require in January? The answer is actually no, we can't. We
No,
tried it with Casado, it didn't work.
didn't work.
And who can we see? Who can we actually, other than obviously we was talking about there's been a lot of talk about even Tony.
Mm.
Now that's something that would likely happen simply because he hasn't been playing because of his ban, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So he would probably be someone that can come in half season without massively impacting his team. I don't know what Brentford's stance is. They're obviously going to want to push for him to come and play for them, but he's kind of in a position of strength in terms of if he does decide to come to us instead, or if even if we want him, there's a lot of talk about him coming, but does Arteta actually want him as a player? We don't even know that. But it would be convenient for him, for us, and for it to be Tony. The problem is always going to be the likelihood.
Yeah.
I don't see us getting a player in January. I would prefer a target man come in if there was going to be someone to come in, because that kind of then, as I said, solves the Jesus and Odegaard management issue, because they both now have to be managed, being injury prone. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
No.
It's something I want, but I don't realistically see it happening.
That would be more likely, I'd say, Summer, the target man, and I think we're more likely if we was looking to sign anybody, it would be midfield. I think. I don't think it would be a target man in January. Not for the profile we're looking for in January. I feel like the January window will be too rushed for Arsenal. I think they'll need to take their time in summer and really think, who would be fit for purpose. I think that's target man's out of the question. I think.
I'm wondering if there's anyone coming through the door. That's what you're laughing, but I'm being real. Real.
Let's be hopeful. Let's be hopeful. We need.
I'm
You know,
being realistic. Arteta does what Arteta does.
he
So
does.
we can
But
hope what we want, but is he getting anyone?
that's true. It's true. I do like
If he
Arteta.
jumps on his pride thing, like what he's done with the Havertz situation, and says, "Oh, the players I have are adequate," game over. If he says anything like that at the beginning of January, as a matter of fact, just to prove his point, he ain't getting no one. So it'd be very interesting to see. Like, I'm going to be paying very close attention to his comments around the end of this. Well, we're in December now. They're in the end of this month, beginning of next month. I'm going to be very interested to see if there's any little innuendos or any lines to read in between.
Just something that we can go back on and look and say, okay.
I say, this is looking ominous. I don't know about this one. Don't know about this.
But I do like the sound of Douglas Luiz. You don't think he's fit. You don't think he's what we need in midfield. A lot of people talk about his attitude, but I think he's a good player. I think he'll be very, very good under Arteta.
He's a good profile of player in terms of what he can bring to the pitch. I can't see him dislodging Rice, and I can't see us getting him in January. He's just literally signed a brand new contract with Villa, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So that would be a summer season attempt. That wouldn't be the winter season. And if we do end up paying 80 million or something stupid for him, we're all going to be thinking to ourselves, hang on, we were offered him for 20 and tried to play funny. And now we're going to go and pay, 3 times as much? Because that's what we'll be paying. Minimum.
Yeah. They won't go. They won't let him go for anything less than 50, for sure.
I think that would be generous.
Yeah, for sure.
What's he got behind him? 4 years? I think that would be generous. If we got 50, that's generous.
Yeah, definitely. I really agree. Let's talk about Kai Havertz. I mean, come on. Well, not me, because I think I'm quite a neutral Arsenal.
Nah, I don't believe so. I'm gonna draw you out on this one. You have not been neutral. I know that for a fact.
I've been more. What's the word? I feel like I've been more chilled out about the situation than others. I have. Come on. You got to say.
Do you know what? I stand by my words from what I said last time. For what we paid for him, he should have been hitting the ground running, because that's what we paid for.
Absolutely. But
now it was mentioned, I think it was Rashan in the group actually, about him coming good around January time, and I'll have to concede, cool. He's starting to produce a bit more in terms of in front of goal. He's starting to do a bit more. As much as I stand by what I said, if he is coming good, if he's coming into form around the time we need him, like the halfway point of the season, and manage to maintain that form, and we do manage to win the league, a lot of people would look at that as a good purchase.
100%. Paying over 50-something million for Kai Havertz is absolutely expensive, but I think he's doing very well, to be honest. But in my opinion, I think maybe we've been overpraising him at times, but he's always been good off the ball. He wasn't doing much on the ball at all. But now he's adding goals to his game. He's getting in good positions. He's creating chances. I've got to give credit where credit's due. I think I can see. So who's not neutral now? Me or you?
I would say, if I'm being real, I would say, do you know what? I think if anything, Xhaka taught me that Havertz's position is the poison chalice position. It's that, I don't know why, but it's always the player in that position that's always gonna divide opinion. Because if you think about it, we talk about Havertz the same way we were talking about Xhaka up until his one amazing season last season.
Yeah, it's true.
So it seems that position, because even when he's trying to play Trossard in there, Trossard was struggling in that position. When he tried to play Smith Rowe in there, Smith Rowe struggled. Xhaka really made that position his own. And without a direct blueprint or player of similar ilk, I still think there would have been better players or players better equipped for that. So he was very stubborn in the sense of, because I mean, who actually, when we first got linked, everyone's making jokes. No one took it seriously. No. And then we bought him, and then everyone was like, "What's happening here?" I did not see that coming in any way, shape, or form. So if you're saying there's definitely players out there, we have to both agree on this one that they were better equipped to try to replace Xhaka than Havertz, a player that was out of form, out of confidence, and being played out of position, and we paid 60 odd million for him.
Yeah.
But he scored, and then 60 million down the drain, he scored again. All right, cool. We'll take that on the chin. Like I said, if he's gonna come good now and maintain that throughout the season or the rest of the remainder of the season, we walk away with some silverware. Nobody's gonna complain. No
No,
one's gonna complain.
I think,
But he's gonna be a Marmite player. He's gonna be that player that some people just don't like, and some people are gonna get behind.
yeah, it's true. I don't think no matter what he does, he won't please anybody, unfortunately. Like you were saying, about that position, I feel like that position's cursed a little bit. We were saying the same thing about Xhaka, as you touched on. So I want to see him do well. I think when he scored, I was happy for him. I was really happy because he performed well as well. He really, really put the effort in. You could see he was trying and trying, and maybe he was trying too much in previous games. But I think do you think it will slow down, or do you think that's him hitting the ground running now? Do you think he'll continue? Do you feel like you can put your hand?
First of all, I think this is Santi Cazzola's fault. We can blame Cazzola for this because Cazzola just slotted in there and was just like, I mean, that season when we were actually doing really well was when Cazzola was in that position, and
Yeah,
he smashed it. So maybe we're looking at the wrong type of profile. Maybe we need to try to replace Cazzola because we never did that. We bought
no, we
Xhaka
don't.
in, and then we bought Havertz in to try to replace Xhaka. But
Yeah,
maybe we should be looking at somebody more along the lines of because Cazzola's the main success story of that. I'm not even sure what to call it now. It's almost like a hybrid attacking
yeah,
midfield role,
yeah,
isn't it? Cazzola was the success story of that position.
we never.
We could keep him on the pitch, and look, he had his own injury problems because once again, no one could cover for him, no one could do what he done in that position,
No,
so we
no.
overplayed him, and I think he ended up having like he almost lost his leg or something. It got really serious at one point, didn't it?
Yeah, he really was in a bad way.
Yeah, it was like a proper, almost career-ending injury he had.
Yeah,
So yeah, maybe we need to have a serious look at that. But for now, for the time being, for the foreseeable future, I can't see Havertz being dropped or changed in any way, shape, or
no,
form.
no.
He's the player we've got. So it's a case of he needs to do the business now. He's made his point in terms of his couple of his contributions. They are starting to get better. People talk about his off the ball work. So that means he's on the ball work, seeing as his off the ball work is all anyone seems to mention. Then he needs to improve that and he needs to maintain it.
Yeah,
That's the pressure that he's accepted that comes with the price tag that he was bought for.
yeah. I think Arteta should keep playing him, and you know, not just leave him on the bench. And I think he should bring him on. If he doesn't put him in the starting 11, make him come on for a quick 20 minutes or whatever, because just to keep that consistency and keep the momentum and chemistry in the team, I think he will come good. I definitely do. So it's nice to see Kai Havertz, let's say, back to winning ways. How long it will last for, I hope for a long time, because I like to see players win and excel at Arsenal Football Club. It's nice to see players come in and win. So that's what we want to try and do. And just lastly, Tez, who is would you say, so far, your player, a player that stood out to you, that's just, consistent? Who's been your, favourite player at the moment this season? Have you got anybody?
I'm going to mention a dark horse, Gabriel in defence, because nobody knows what was happening for the first couple of games when we decided he wasn't being played. I don't know if he was talking to another club or what the situation was, but
Yeah,
for some reason he wasn't playing. He's obviously come in, slotted right back in. If you're talking about player of the season so far, you'd have to talk about Rice. He can't not be in that the conversation.
definitely.
But I'm glad to see that whatever the situation was with Gabriel has settled down and he's now playing back to his position. Defense is back to as good as it was. The fact that even Tomiyasu is giving Ben White a run for his money there, like, love to see that. Love to see that. So yeah, the comeback kid Tomiyasu, you have to mention that as well. Praying his injury isn't serious, of course. We know knowing that he came off, obviously. So we don't know. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, but yeah,
I
hoping
haven't.
nothing serious. That will keep him out for too long. The worst thing about him right now would be to miss the next couple of games. I think that would hurt him a lot
Yeah,
as a player and his current form as well. But yeah, definitely got it's got to be Rice. It's got to be, and it's got to be Rice, baby.
yeah,
When we're talking
I
about
agree.
the entire
Right.
season so far, and what he's allowed people to use him as a platform in front of him because of what he does behind them. The confidence of those players knowing that he's got their back
Yeah,
has done a lot for our attack.
yeah. Rice is just phenomenal. I could sit and talk about Rice for the rest of the night, but I mean, it just goes without saying he is just so honestly this.
I can see you dribbling from here.
This guy, I love, honestly, he was doing
Yeah.
this. He's been doing this for years. He's been doing this for years. I think he's just phenomenal. He's amazing too. He's good. It's nice to watch him, man. Um, Week in, week out, you can just see, like, as I was saying earlier, what he does. He was doing all this at West Ham, and what he does, he was doing this before. But when you watch him week in, week out play for us, and it's like he was the missing piece in the midfield. Yes, we could.
100%. 100%. If you look at the problems we were having
Yeah,
before him and the fact that we're not even talking about those problems now,
no,
what he's done for us, yeah,
and
100%.
he's saved us a few times already.
Mm,
He's really, really coming good. He's hit the ground running. 105 million well spent, in my opinion.
mm.
I mean, sign us up some more Declan Rices. That's what I say. We've got Luton on Tuesday, and then I think we're going to win that. Obviously, I mean, no disrespect to Luton, but I think Arsenal will definitely win that. And then we've got Aston Villa Saturday away. Um,
Let me drop this bar to you because a lot of people are talking about the Villa, and
yeah,
I've seen some comments now. Um, I think it was one of our past players that come out and said that Unai Emery could have probably won the league for us. Who was that? I can't remember who said that.
um,
A
it,
defender, wasn't it?
it,
What's his name?
it, it was one of a reporter.
Oh, was it? Was it?
Was it a reporter? I don't want to say things that I don't know for certain, but I did see that saying, if he was our manager. But that's easy to say. We don't know that. I mean, at the time, I don't think so. No, not at the time.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
No,
Arteta's
not.
being backed financially in a way that Unai Emery never was.
Mm,
And as a manager, right now at Villa, he's got to be looking at Arsenal like, hang on a second. I asked for Zaha, and I got a wannabe Zaha. I asked for this player, and I got a wannabe, and my man's out here getting exactly who he wants, even if it
yeah.
pisses off the rest of the fans. So
Mm.
he's gonna have a bone to pick about that.
Oh yeah.
Villa are doing well. Let's not. I mean, what they're fighting to get in the top four right now. So
Very
he's
well.
made his point. He's made his point. He's a great manager. He's made that point already. Villa have obviously trusted in him to do things his way, and he's coming
Yeah,
good with it. So it goes without saying that's going to be a difficult game.
definitely, it's going to be tough. Very tough, tough game. It's not going to be easy. You're 3-4-5 nil. It's going to be very tough. Tough,
Mm-hmm.
tough, tough. It's a tough place to go, Villa. They're playing very well, and Emery, you can see what he's doing for Aston Villa. They're on the up and up. So
I'll
we have
say
to.
this though, their time in Europe is you can see it starting to same thing with Newcastle. The,
Mm,
the first, like the only good thing we've got for us going for us in terms of in the Champions League is we haven't been out of Europe this entire
no,
time. Just been out of the top of Europe. So we're used to the 2 games a week. But the Villas and the Newcastles that haven't been used to that, the physical demand of playing twice a week, they're gonna have a tough second half of the season, or even leading into Christmas. So it will be very, very interesting to see. It's going to be a battle of the wits, isn't it, in terms
yeah,
of who can give the most on the pitch. And that's not a game we can do a Wolves and switch off at the end. That's
No,
not can't happen. That can't happen.
from
Yeah.
from start till 90 minutes to whatever added time we get on, we need to be on form. There's no switching off, not even for a second, because that's when they can just hit you and cause you problems defensively, and that's not what we want.
There's a
We don't.
lot of pace up front for them. There's a lot of pace. It'd be very interesting to see this the midweek lineup. That will tell us all we need to know. That will tell us a lot. The midweek lineup.
Yeah, definitely. That will definitely tell us. I think Arteta needs to think about resting players at Luton. I think that should be a game where we should be beating them with flying colours. There's no oohing and ahhing who we should play. Just put your team out. Rest the players, the important players that you know need to be up fit and ready for the Aston Villa game away, because it's going to be a physical, tiring, tough match. It's not going to be easy. So we need to not have any results or performances that's going to hinder our title hopes and challenges. You know what I mean? That's the problem. We need to treat every game like it's a final, and especially when City are dropping points, we need to take advantage of that. We need, but
they won't continue to do that. They will not continue to do that because
that's what
they know what it takes. They're serial winners. They know what it takes. So we have to take advantage of every slip up because they'll take advantage of every one of ours.
that's what I'm saying. We need to take advantage of the points being dropped here, there, and everywhere. You got Tottenham taking points as Man City, and Liverpool taking, dropping points here and there, and everyone dropping points. So we need to take advantage of that, and Arsenal need to keep this momentum up. Um, I don't, I don't. I think Arsenal can do it this year, but they will need to be very consistent and keep that consistent mentality. Arteta needs to keep, you know, telling the players you need to believe in yourself, believe that you can do it. I don't think City can go on to win it a fourth time. It last year took a lot out of them. So, but we
They
know
lost Gundogan as well. They lost Gundogan was their guy last season.
that's what I mean. They're looking a bit not too great in midfield and defending, not taking away what they can do, going forward. But last year took a lot out of them. They're still missing Kevin De Bruyne and that, and they they go on a crazy run when they get go. You don't want them to get going, because if they do get going, that's all well and good. But you want there to be enough points dropped by them that's not going to matter to us. We need to keep going.
And De Bruyne's not out for the whole season, so the damage needs to be done now.
That's what I'm saying. We need to be well ahead before they go on their run, because they can go on a 8, 9, 10 winning streak. But if we're, let's say, 8 points ahead, for example, then we're just looking behind like you're not nowhere near us. That's how we need to, I think we need to be. I think it's not going to be easy, but I don't think City will do it this year. I really do believe in us. What do you think? I really do think we'll do it.
Like it's gonna be. I feel like I'm looking at February and March. I'm looking at February and March in terms of last year, the West Ham game. There was a couple of other games when it just looked like we dropped points. We just didn't really need to drop.
Yeah.
So it's going to be about the January transfer window. Unfortunately, that's a situation that Arteta has brought on us. That we are all looking at January now in terms of recruitment.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in terms of the players up front? As much as we talk about what's going on at the back, I can't see Saka having the energy to do a whole Champions League and Premier League run. We are going to need to address that situation before the situation addresses us. But it's good that I can talk about it in a way where it's up to us. It's still within our hands. At that point last season, it was already out of our hands, and you could see the writing was on the wall. But this season, we've got January ahead of us. We can still do something about that. If Reiss Nelson's not the answer, if Jesus playing as a target man's not the answer, whatever the situation is, we can address that. We still have the power to do that. But if we put it in a position where, rather than looking over our shoulders, or even being 10 points ahead, if we could just focus on us and keep doing our job because we've got the personnel or we've got the form to do that, then I don't see why not. I don't see why not. We have to appreciate the fact that with the level that we're at right now, the level of expectation is to win the league. The level of expectation is to start to compete for major silverware, and not just to be in the competition just for the sake of being in it or for show, to actually win. Like the possibility of winning, the expectation of winning has to be there now.
Yeah, that's it. That's the coming second last year, and imagine going lower than that.
That still hurts. That coming second last year still hurts. It's still fresh in the memory. I need that silverware to heal me. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. Even that, I'll be demanding more. I'll be demanding a lot more. But you're right. We need to protect the players, Saka. We need good backup. We need definitely good backup, because, like you said, Saka won't be able to do it. I don't think he'll be able to go a whole season and more and do competitions. It's going to be tough.
Our best players right now are completely exposed. Exposed.
Yeah, completely exposed, at risk of injuries. We don't need that. If we could prevent that, then I think we have a good chance. But I'm going to be hopeful and say we're definitely going to go on. And I do definitely think that. But yeah, it's still early, isn't it? We're only in December, but we've got a long way to go. A lot can happen, a lot can change. But Tez, thank you for coming on as always. It's love all the time, man.
All right, man. Thanks for having me, man. Love every time.
Always, man. Love. Get you back on soon. And yes, my people, if you haven't, like and subscribe for the latest Arsenal content. And yeah, guys, see you soon. Love.